Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Steve Berry. Uh, I'm an automation engineer, front-end developer, SEO specialist, uh, who spent the last several years, helping businesses solve one major problem. How do how do we stop being invisible online? And before we talk about SEO, Google rankings, and websites or I need you to understand one thing. Most businesses think they have a website problem. They don't. They have a communication problem. Because in 2026, the internet, it's loud. Everybody's posting, everybody's advertising, everybody's trying to optimize. But customers are still asking one simple question: can you help me? And can I trust you? That's really it. Technology changes fast. Human behavior, though, not nearly as much. People still buy clarity, still buy confidence, still buy trust. And that's why this workshop matters. Today is not about turning you into a programmer or a marketing expert. You do not need to be technical. You simply need to understand how the modern internet sees your business. And over the last several years, I've worked with hundreds of small businesses, helping them improve their visibility, modernize their websites, and build systems that bring customers online, bring them conversions. And I noticed this common denominator. The businesses winning online usually are not the biggest, they're the clearest. Within a few seconds of landing on their website, you understand who they are, what they do, who they help, and what to do next. And that clarity, it matters because when your website is confusing, Google gets confused. And when Google gets confused, you disappear. Even if your business is great, your website today is not just a brochure, it is your digital storefront. It's your first impression. It's your best salesperson working 24 hours a day. And the good news, most small business websites are only a few strategic improvements away from performing dramatically better. Sometimes the problem is speed. Sometimes it's mobile usability. Sometimes Google doesn't trust inconsistent business information online. And sometimes the homepage simply isn't clear enough. And today, we're trying to fix that. This workshop is designed in plain English. I'm not going to use a lot of jargon, a lot of tech snobbery. I don't want to make you feel behind. Just practical, simple, actionable steps. And over the course of this presentation, we're going to walk through what I call the rules of octaves. 8 simple layers that help businesses become more visible online. And by the end of today, you'll stop looking at the website as it's just my website and start seeing it as more of a communication tool. Excuse me. And it's either going to build trust or you're going to lose customers. It's as simple as that. So let's talk about who I am, right? I'm Steve Berry. Um, like I said, I'm an automation engineer, creative director, SEO specialist. But honestly, all those titles boil down to one thing. I help businesses become easier to understand online because most businesses are incredible in real life. But online, Google may not fully understand them. Customers may not fully trust them. And confusion kills visibility. And that's why I believe SEO is not magic. SEO is communication at scale, helping search engines and customers clearly understand who you are, what you do, and why they should trust you. So here's where we're going to go today. We're going to peel this onion one layer at a time, right? First, what SEO actually is. because modern SEO is not tricking Google. It's reducing uncertainty, helping search engines clearly understand your business. Then we'll look at how search engines work, because once you understand that, SEO stops feeling intimidating. And after that, we'll cover quality website essentials, because your website is your digital storefront. People make trust decisions very fast. And finally, the must-have pages every business website needs, because clarity creates confidence, and that confidence is what's going to get you that conversion. Then we'll move into on-page SEO fundamentals, titles, headlines, images, keywords, the small signals that help Google understand your business. Then we'll talk about SEO, because visibility today happens everywhere. It happens on Google Maps. It happens in voice search, AI assistants, social platforms, you name it. Then we'll cover performance and mobile optimization, because slow websites lose customers immediately. And finally, I'll show you the common SEO mistakes businesses make, and then the next steps you can take today or tomorrow. Because this workshop's not about turning you into a programmer, like I said. It's about helping you build a clearer, more trustworthy, and more visible business online. Let's talk SEO. Excuse me. 3 letters that make a lot of small business owners immediately think, oh my goodness, this is going to get real technical. But I'm here to simplify this right now. SEO stands for search engine optimization, plain English. It means helping your business show up when customers search online for whatever it is that you do. That's really it. Because today, before people call you, before they visit you, before they trust you, they search. And if your business doesn't appear, your competitor gets that opportunity instead. And that this workshop is about fixing that. No jargon, no overwhelming BS, just practical understanding that you can actually use. So let me ask you something. When somebody is in your city and they need what you sell, what do they do first? Maybe 20 years ago, they would ask a friend. And then it became, maybe you would see a billboard or a radio ad or even a flyer. And then social media showed up, Facebook. I saw it on TikTok. I saw it on Instagram. But today, 9 times out of 10, people Google it. If you think about your own behavior, if you need a plumber, you Google it. If you need a restaurant, we Google it. If you need a lawyer, you know we do. We Google it. If you need anybody, roof, family, accountant, we're going to Google it. And that means something. It's very important. If your business cannot be clearly found online, you're invisible during the exact moment that somebody is ready to buy. And here's the easiest way to understand SEO. Your website is your storefront. SEO is like the street sign. That's it. Imagine you build the most beautiful store in Texas. Amazing lighting, amazing products, amazing service. But you build it in the middle of the desert with no road signs. Nobody can find it. Not because the business is bad, because the communication failed. And that's exactly what happens online every single day. A beautiful website with no SEO is like a store with no address. Search engines reward clarity. Google is trying to reduce uncertainty. Its job is to confidently answer one question: which business is most likely to help this person right now? So let's demystify this scary acronym, search engine optimization. It sounds technical. It sounds intimidating, but in plain English, SEO is just a process of helping search engines and humans clearly understand who you help, what you do, where you do it, and why you can be trusted. That's SEO. The search part, somebody types a need into Google. The engine part, that's Google scans billions of pages trying to find the best answer. And the optimization part, that's you improving your website communication so Google understands you faster. And that's all it really is. SEO is just communication at a large scale. Now, let's talk about the opportunity of it all. Google processes 8 billion searches every single day, not every month, every day. That means while we're sitting here right now, people are actively searching for businesses just like yours. And the wild part, almost half of Google searches are local. People searching for near me, open now, best roofer, emergency plumber, bakery, etc. Google has quietly become the largest referral engine in human history. And unlike a salesperson, it works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. Your website is your digital employee that never sleeps. Now, let's have an honest conversation. Most people never go past page 2 on Google. And I know that sounds harsh, but I think about if you think about your own behavior, when was the last time you searched for something and clicked and got to page 4? You know what I mean? Position 1 gets the majority of the clicks. By the time you reach page 2, visibility falls off a cliff. So when businesses say, my website exists, but nobody calls, usually the problem is not existence. It's more like discoverability. Your competitors are showing up during the customer's decision-making moment, and you're not. And SEO exists to change that. Now, there are 2 ways to appear in Google. You can do paid ads, or you can do organic search. Paid ads are like renting attention. The second you stop paying, visibility disappears. SEO is different. SEO is like owning digital real estate. It takes longer to build, but once momentum starts, it compounds. And here's something important. Users trust organic rankings more than ads. Why? Because subconsciously, people think Google chose this result, not this company paid to interrupt me. Now, both strategies have their value, don't get me wrong. But for a small business, organic SEO often creates the strongest long-term ROI, right? So let's clear up some myths real quick. SEO is not magic. SEO is not gaming the algorithm. SEO is not keyword stuffing like we're back in 2009. SEO is definitely not reserved for giant corporations either. In fact, local SEO often favors small businesses. A trusted local roofer and Prosper can outrank a national company. Why? Because Google understands local intent. Remember, Google is not trying to reward the biggest company. Google is trying to reward the clearest and most trustworthy answer. So why does SEO actually give? So what does it give the business, right? It gives it 3 things: visibility, credibility, and growth. Visibility means people can find you. They can finally get to you. Credibility means people trust you before they even call. And the growth, well, that means more leads, more calls, more customers. And here's the beautiful part. Good SEO compounds. A great blog post can generate leads for years. A well-optimized service page can quietly bring in customers while you sleep. And SEO is not just marketing. It's like business infrastructure, right? Now I want everybody to do something. You can do it now, do it later, whenever. But I want you to Google your own business. Seriously type in the name of your business. You type in your service plus your city and honestly see what appears. Do your competitors show up first? Is your phone number wrong? Does does nothing show up at all? Whatever you find when you Google your business, that's not your failure. It's more like your baseline. And the beautiful thing about baselines is they can improve. Now, before we close out this section, I need to set a realistic expectation. SEO is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is not push a button and get leads tomorrow. Month one, foundation. Month three, momentum starts to build. By month six, you begin seeing compounding growth over time. Your visibility becomes an asset. The businesses winning online in 2026 are not always the loudest. They are the clearest. They're the most helpful, the most trustworthy, and the most consistent. So here's what you now know. SEO is not about tricking Google. It's about helping Google confidently understand your business. Your website is the storefront. SEO is the street sign. Visibility creates that opportunity. The trust increases the conversion. And clarity improves the ranking. Most businesses do not have the technology problem. Remember, they have a communication problem. SEO is the bridge between what your business does and whether the world can clearly understand it. So in the next section that we're about to jump into, we're going to pull back the curtain and answer the question, how do search engines actually work? Because once you understand crawl, indexing, and ranking, everything else starts making a little bit more sense. All right. So now that we understand what SEO is, we need to answer the next question. How does Google actually work? Because the moment you understand this, SEO stops feeling magical. And that matters because most business owners think Google is some mysterious machine in the sky making random decisions. It's not. Google is actually trying to do something very simple, and that's reduce uncertainty. That's really it. Google's job is to help people find the best answer as fast as possible. So today I'm going to show you what's happening behind the curtain without all the techie stuff, no programming, keeping it simple. Google really only does three things. That's it. They crawl, they index, and they rank. Think of Google like the world's biggest library, not a bookstore, a library. And every website on earth is trying to get its book placed on the front shelf. Step one, crawling. Google sends out bots. Sometimes they call them spiders to read websites. They move from link to link, page to page, like someone flipping through a giant digital book. Step two, indexing. Google stores everything it finds in a giant database. If your website is not indexed, it's invisible. You literally do not exist to Google. And then comes the ranking. When someone searches, Google quickly scans its library and asks, which result is the best answer for this person? That is ranking. And that is where SEO matters. So let's zoom into crawling for a second, right? Because this part is important. Google bots are reading your website right now, not metaphorically, literally. They land on that homepage, they read your text, they scan your headings, they check your images, they follow all the links and report everything back up to Google. Now, here's where businesses accidentally hurt themselves. Sometimes Google can't properly crawl the site. Maybe the website is slow. Maybe links are broken. Pages are hidden. Maybe the site is built so poorly the bot gets confused and leaves. Images and imagine inviting customers to your store, right? And half the hallways are blocked with boxes like Dollar General. That's what bad website structure feels like to Google. So when we improve SEO, we're often not gaming the algorithm. We're simply helping Google navigate the building. So then comes the indexing, right? This is where Google files your website into its giant library. And this slide right here, this one right here, is one of the most important moments in this entire workshop because many businesses think, well, I have a website. So obviously Google knows that I exist. Not necessarily. You can have a beautiful website and Google may barely know it's there. And here's a quick test. Like I said, Google your website and see what comes back. Your index, that's great. If nothing appears, Google hasn't properly filed your site yet. And if you're not indexed, you cannot rank. That's like opening a store, but never putting your business in the phone book, the maps, or directory. Nobody can find you because the system doesn't know you exist. Now, let's talk about the part everybody cares about, right? Which is ranking. How does Google decide who shows up first? This entire process comes down to three things: relevance, authority, and experience. Relevance means, does your page actually answer the question? If somebody searches emergency plumber, Prosper, Texas, and your website barely mentions plumbing, Google moves on. Authority means, can you be trusted? Do other websites mention you? Do you have reviews? Are you listed in directories? Does your business look legitimate online? And then experience. Is your site fast, mobile friendly, easy to use? Because Google watches human behavior. If visitors click your site and immediately leave, Google notices. Remember this phrase: Google rewards clarity, not tricks, not hype, not keyword stuffing, clarity. Now, let's talk a little bit about keywords. And please hear me out, right? Keywords are not about cramming random words into your website. That's old school. We don't do that no more. Modern SEO is understanding the language your customers already use. That's really it. If you're a bakery, people probably aren't searching for artisan baked culinary solutions, right? That they're searching for custom wedding cakes in Frisco, Texas. You see the difference there? Specific searches create opportunities for small businesses. This is why long tail keywords matter. Long tail just means more specific phrases. And here's the beautiful part about this: the more specific the search, the closer that customer usually is to buying. Now, let's talk about these links, because links are basically digital word of mouth. When another trusted website links to your business, Google sees that as a vote of confidence. It's like another business owner saying, "Yep, they're legit." This is why local directories matter. Yelp, Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, Google Business Profile. Those listings help reinforce trust. And then there are the internal links in your website, which are the links between your own pages. Your home page links to services, services links to blog posts link back to contact pages. This helps Google understand the structure of your website. Think of it like putting signs inside of a grocery store, right? Produce aisle this way, checkout this way. Good linking creates those directions inside your website. And this slide right here, this might be the entire workshop in one sentence. Google wants to give people the best answer. That's it. Not the fanciest website, not the loudest business, not the business spending the most money, the best answer. So, what does that look like? Helpful content, human first writing, real trust signals, technical quality. And honestly, this is good news for small businesses because small businesses can incredibly increase their trust online through real stories, real customers, real experience. That stuff matters. And local roofing companies with authentic photos, honest reviews, and helpful answers can absolutely outrank giant national brands. Why? Because authenticity creates the trust, and trust is what Google is trying to measure, right? Now, usually around this point, people start asking the same questions. How long is this going to take? Honestly, SEO is a long-term asset, usually 3 to 6 months before meaningful traction. But unlike ads, the work compounds. Another question, does social media help SEO? Directly, not much. Indirectly, absolutely. Because social media creates the visibility, the traffic, the awareness, the trust signals. And another big one, why isn't my website ranking if it's been online for years? Because being online is not the same as being optimized. A dusty billboard in the desert still exists and nobody sees it. Your website needs that structure. It needs the clarity, the trust, the helpful content, the consistency. So let's land the plane here. What did we learn? Google crawls websites. Google indexes websites. Google ranks businesses. Google ranks websites, sorry. If if Google cannot crawl or index your site, you're invisible. Ranking depends on relevance, authority, and experience. Keywords are simply the language customers use when they search. And links are digital trust signals. And here's the exciting part. We spent the first 2 octaves here understanding visibility, but in this next section, we're going to talk about something even more important. What actually makes a good website in 2026? Because traffic alone is not enough. If visitors arrive at your website and feel confused, they leave. And when they leave, Google notices. So, up next, we're going to break down the 4 pillars of a quality website, right? So, now we're getting into something really important. In that last section, we talked about how Google worked, the crawl and the index, the ranking. But here's the next question. Once Google or a customer actually arrives at your website, what do they see? Because this is where a lot of businesses lose. Not because they're a bad business, not because they don't care or they're not talented. They lose because their website creates that uncertainty, and uncertainty kills the trust. So today we're going to talk about what actually makes a quality website in 2026. Not fancy, flashy, overloaded animated sites, just clear, trustworthy, easy to use, because Google and customers want the exact same thing, a website that makes people feel confident. So here's something wild, right? Studies show people form a first impression on your website in less than a second. That's faster than a blink. And in those few seconds, people are silently asking three questions. Who are you? What do you do? Can I trust you? That's really it. You see, most business websites fail because they try to sound clever instead of clear. They say things like innovative, integrated solutions for modern experiences of excellence. And what does that even mean, right? I mean, imagine walking into a restaurant and the sign outside says, elevating culinary experiences through passion. Okay, cool. Do you sell tacos or not? Right? Your homepage should immediately tell people what you do, who you help, and where you do it. Just keep it simple because confusion creates that friction, and friction makes people leave. So let's talk about your digital foundation, right? Your domain name is your address. Your hosting is the building your website lives in. And this matters more than people think because some businesses spend thousands on design and then put the site on a $3 hosting site. That's like opening a luxury restaurant inside of a collapsing shed, right? Slow hosting creates slow loading, crashes, bad mobile experiences, poor ranking, and Google sees all of that. Customers, they feel all of that. And here's another important thing: own your domain name, not your designer, not your nephew, not your old marketing company. I need you to own your domain because your domain is digital real estate. You lose access to it, and you could lose your entire online identity, right? So, every quality website is built on four pillars. Number one, clear messaging. People should know what you do within 5 seconds, not 10, not 30, 5. Number two, easy navigation. If visitors have to think too hard, they're gone. Your menu should feel obvious. Services, contact, about, simple wins. Number three, trust signals, real photos, real reviews, real people, not fake smiling stock photos of people wearing headsets in 2007. Calls to action. Every page should answer, what do I do next? Call, book, request a quote, schedule, because a website without calls to action is just an expensive brochure at best. So let's talk about a little bit about content because content is huge, right? Because content is evidence of expertise. And most businesses write content like they're trying to impress other businesses instead of helping customers. Look at the difference, the bad version. We provide quality plumbing solutions for all your residential needs. Okay, that says nothing. Now, when you listen to this, need an emergency plumber and prosper tonight? We answer 24/7 and arrive within an hour. That works. Why? Because it sounds like a human being. Specificity builds trust. Clarity builds trust. And trust gets you the conversion. Google is trying to reduce the uncertainty. So the business that explains things clearly, they win. Your homepage headline, it may be the most important sentence on your entire website. And here's the formula, right? What you do plus where you do it plus why you're different. That's really it. An example might be Prosper Roof Repair, same day emergency service. Simple, strong, and clear. Now let's talk about those buttons. Most websites have horrible buttons. Learn more. Learn more about what? Instead, try get my free estimate. Tell people exactly what happens next. Specific calls to action outperform vague ones every single time. And trust is the currency of the internet. And customers are making trust decisions before they ever contact you. So ask yourself, do you have real photos? Do you show reviews? Do you have an about page with an actual human being on it? Because people buy from people, they don't buy from logos. One of the biggest mistakes I see, businesses hiding themselves. No owner photo, no team photo, no story, just generic marketing text. But authenticity is the key in 2026. The businesses that feel real are the businesses customers trust. Now, let's talk about something Google cares deeply about, the EEAT, right? The experience, the expertise, the authority, the trustworthiness. It sounds super technical, but it's actually common sense when you break it down. Google wants to know, have you actually done this work? Do you know what you're talking about? Do other people do you? Does your website feel legit? That's why real reviews matter. Real photos matter. Detailed explanations matter. SEO today is no longer about gaming, playing games with Google. It's about proving credibility at scale. So now here's the good news, right? Most website problems are fixable fairly fast. And this is important because some of you are looking at your website right now thinking like, uh-oh, but don't panic, right? This isn't failure. This is just awareness. And awareness creates the opportunity. Sometimes the difference between a weak website and a strong website is a better headline, a clearer call to action, real photos, a faster homepage. Small improvements compound. And that's how SEO works. That's how trust works. That's how growth works. So let me show you the mistakes that I see constantly. Number one, the homepage headline is just a company name. That's not enough. Tell people what you do. Number two, stock photos everywhere. People can feel the fakeness. Number three, there's no call to action above the fold. What does that mean? People land on the page and have no clue what to do next. And number four, no reviews, which means no social proof. And number five, tiny service pages with almost no information. Remember, Google rewards helpful, being helpful, the helpfulness of it. And that thin content, it creates thin trust. People always ask, what platform should I use? And honestly, the platform matters less than the consistency. Whether you're using WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, all of them work. The best website platform is the one that you will actually update, right? Because an outdated website sends a signal to Google. and to your customers. It says, hey, this business may not be active. And momentum matters online, right? So here's what we learned today, right? A quality website is not about being flashy. It's not about reducing, I mean, it is about reducing uncertainty, the clear messaging, easy navigation, the trust signals, strong calls to action. That's what makes people stay. That's what makes people convert. And that's what makes Google trust your business. Remember, most businesses do not have the technology problem, it's the communication part. SEO is that bridge between what you do and whether the internet can clearly understand it, right? So in this next section, we're going to build an actual structure of your website, the must-have web pages, the navigation, the layout that Google loves. Because now that you understand what makes a good website, it's time to organize one the right way, right? So I'm going to open it up. I know I'm ramming it down there. Do we have any questions out there before I keep going?
I have one about your domain names for your website. I know some of the host platforms that you included allow you to purchase the domains through the host site, but I've heard like, well, they'll give it to you for $1 the first year, and then otherwise, like they really mark up the prices. I'm just curious if you have a recommendation on other places to buy your domain names, or if you would recommend doing it separately, or is it better to do it together and eat a higher cost?
No, usually uh, I tend to get my domain through whoever the platform is. So Wix is definitely my favorite. So I'll tend to register my domain directly with them, keep it all under one house. In certain situations, you may have an idea that might just hit you and you want to buy a domain just to kind of secure it. Uh,
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll do that through I actually have Squarespace. They purchased Google domains a long time ago. So a lot of my domains are housed there. And so in that case, I may have a domain where it's housed at Squarespace and I have to redirect it to another platform. But in terms of pricing and how they play the game with giving it to you free today and charging you full price next year, that's everyone's going to do that. Your .coms are going to range in that $15 to $20 range. If they're any higher than that, there's a problem. Your vanity domains are going to be more than that. Your .ios and your, anything that's a vanity. There's hundreds of them, but anything other than the .com is kind of a domain. If you got your .nets and your .orgs are going to be cheaper because no one really uses those. So that's kind of the domain game there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's keep on rolling here. All right. Now we're getting into something that's quietly destroys more websites than almost anything, which is structure. And I know website structure it is boring, but this right here, this is one of the biggest reasons businesses stay invisible online because most websites are built like junk drawers. There's pages everywhere, no organization, no hierarchy, there's no flow. And Google looks at that confusion and says, you know what? I genuinely don't know what this business does. And here's the truth about that: you do not need a 50-page website. You need the right pages with the right communication. You think about your website like a building. If someone walks into a grocery store and the milk is next to the lawnmowers and the checkout line is behind a curtain, we're going to get up out of there. That's exactly what a bad website structure feels like online. So that's what we're going to try to fix today. So your website, it has two audiences, humans and robots, visitors and Google. And both are trying to answer the exact same question. Do I understand this business quickly? If visitors have to dig, they leave. If Google has to guess, you don't rank. That's why structure is the invisible superpower. Google structure, good structure, I'm sorry, helps visitors find things fast, understand your offer immediately, know where they are, and contact you easily. And Google needs structure to understand what each page is about, what pages matter most, and whether your business looks trustworthy. This is important. Like I said, Google rewards clarity, not the tricks, not the hacks, not cleverness. It's always going to be clarity. A clean structure reduces uncertainty for both humans and the search engines and AI. Now let's simplify this whole thing dramatically, right? Most small businesses only need 6 core pages. That's really it. You need your home page. This is that digital storefront. Within seconds, people should know who you help, what you do, where you do it, and what to do next. You should have an about page. People buy from people. Your about page builds emotional trust. Your story, it matters. Your your face, it matters. Your experience, it matters today. Service pages. And this one, this is huge. Every major service deserves its own page, not one giant paragraph listing 20 things. Separate pages, contact page, make contacting you ridiculously easy. Phone, email, hours, address, a short form, no friction. Reviews page. This is the social proof part. Let your customers sell for you. And the blog page. Your blog is not for random thoughts. Your blog is a search visibility engine. Every blog post is another opportunity for Google to understand who you are and what you're good at. And this might be the single biggest SEO breakthrough for many businesses in this room right now. One service per page. And let me explain why. Every service is a different search. Roof repair, gutter cleaning, skylight installation, those are separate searches. Those are separate problems, separate customer intent. But many businesses do this. We offer roofing, gutter, skylight, inspections, emergency, blah, blah, blah. One page, 20 services, zero clarity. Google has no idea what to rank this page for. Now you compare that to this one page for roof repair, one page for gutters, one page for inspections. Now Google understands everything, and your ranking opportunity, it multiplies. One page equals one opportunity, 4 pages, 4 opportunities. This is how small businesses start competing without massive budgets. SEO, remember, communication at scale, right? Your navigation is your website's roadmap. The second someone lands on your site, their eyes immediately look for direction. And here's the mistake that businesses make. They try to sound clever. Options are like solutions, discover, explore. Nobody searches for that though. And plain English is always going to win. Services, about, contact, Simple beats smart every single time. Keep your menus small, five, seven max. Too many choices creates decision paralysis, right? And please, please, please make your contact info easy to find. Nothing is more frustrating than wanting to call a business and they're playing hide and seek with the phone number. If people have to hunt, you lose that conversion every time. So let's talk a little bit about the URLs, right? Most businesses completely waste this opportunity. Your URL is a mini headline for Google. Google reads it before it reads your page. So, this page question mark ID equals number tells Google nothing. But a URL that sounds like services slash roof repair dash where I am, Prosper, Texas, that's clear. Now Google instantly understands service, location, intent. That URL communicates. And remember, SEO is communication. Your URL should be clean, readable, descriptive, lowercase letters, hyphens between words, keywords included naturally, right? No random numbers, no weird codes, no chaos. You think of these URLs like street signs. Clear signs help people arrive confidently. Move into one of the most probably overlooked SEO systems, the internal part, the internal linking. This is how your page talks to each other. Every link in your website sends signals. It tells Google, this page matters. This topic, it matters. Keep exploring. Think of your website like a neighborhood, right? Your homepage is like downtown. Your service pages are the businesses. Your blog posts are side streets connecting everything together. Good internal linking creates that structure, it creates that flow. And here's something important: pages with no links pointing to them are called orphan pages. That means Google may never, ever find them. Imagine building a beautiful store in the middle of the forest with no roads leading to it. That is what we call an orphan page. Now, this slide changes how you think about websites forever. Most businesses assume visitors enter through the homepage. Not anymore. Google can send someone directly to any page, the service page, blog post, the frequently asked questions page. That means that every single page must function just like the homepage. Every page needs a clear headline. Every page needs clear navigation, contact information, a strong call to action, internal linking. Never assume that the visitor knows who you are, because many of them don't. This is why clarity matters so much. Every page should immediately answer, what is this? Who is this for? What should I do next? So now we turn strategy into action. This checklist right here, this checklist is your website audit framework. And honestly, most businesses don't fail SEO because they're lazy. They fail because nobody ever explained what to look for. This gives you a roadmap. Do you have a dedicated service page? Are your URLs clean? Does every page link somewhere useful? Is your navigation simple? Can visitors contact you easily? These are foundational visibility systems, and foundations matter, because if the structure is weak, everything built on top is going to be brittle or unstable. So let's bring it all together, right? Good website structure serves two audiences: people and Google. The six essential pages, they create the clarity. Dedicated service pages, they create ranking opportunities. Navigation creates the confidence. URLs communicate meaning. Internal links create the flow. Every page must work as a standalone first impression. Remember this, most businesses do not have a technology problem. Like I said, it's always communication. And website structure is communication architecture. When your structure becomes clear, Google understands you faster, customers trust you faster, and visibility starts compounding. You know what I mean? So let's talk about this. Now we're getting into something a little bit more powerful, right? Because up to this point, we've talked about websites and structure and clarity and local SEO, but now we're talking about SEO you control directly. No waiting, no begging Google, no expensive ad budget, no mysterious algorithm hacks. This section right here is called on-page SEO fundamentals. And I want you to think about it like this. If your website was a storefront, on-page SEO is the signage, it's the labels, it's the organization, the language, the way everything is presented. Google is walking through your website trying to answer one question. What exactly does this business do? And who is it for? And if your website communicates clearly, Google gains confidence. And the confidence creates the visibility that we want. On page SEO is every optimization you make directly on your website. This is the part most small businesses should start with first, because this is 100% controllable by you. You control this. You control the titles, headlines, wording, the images, right? Page structure, internal links, and all that matters. All that matters because too many businesses think SEO starts with backlinks or social media or technical wizardry. That's not true. SEO starts with the communication. You think about it this way. If I walk into your business and nobody can clearly explain to me what you do, where you do it, or why I should trust you, you just lost a customer. And your website, it works the same way. So let's talk about the single most important piece on that SEO page, which is that title tag. This is the blue clickable headline people see in Google. And most businesses waste it. They'll write something like home or welcome or their company name. And that tells Google almost nothing. Remember, Google wants clarity. So instead, your title should follow this structure: service, city, brand, simple, right? Like roof repair, Prosper, Texas, Smith Roofing, same day service. Now suddenly Google understands, right? It gets it, what you do, where you do it, and why someone might click. And here's the important part. The title tag is not just SEO, it's marketing. It's your billboard on a highway of Google, right? Now, under the title comes that meta description. And you can think of this as your advertisement. Google may rank you, but the meta description helps you earn that click. Weak businesses write vague fluff. We are committed to quality service. That means nothing. Strong businesses communicate the certainty. Listen to the difference in this part. Need roof repair and prosper fast? Licensed, insured, 5-star rated, free estimate? Call today. You feel the difference in that? The specificity, the clarity, confidence. And here's the secret: good SEO is usually just good communication. That's it. Your meta description should make someone think, yep, that's exactly what I was looking for. Now let's organize the page, right? Headers are the outline system of your content. You think you think of them like chapters in a book. The H1 is your main title, and you only get one per page. H2s are major sections. H3s are the supporting details. Google uses headers to understand what topics matter, how information is grouped, what topics, how, what the page is truly about. But here's the real world reason this matters. Humans scan before they read. Nobody opens a web page and reads every word immediately. They scroll, they skim, they hunt for relevance. Good headers guide the eye, right? Bad headers create confusion, and the confusion is what kills the conversion. Now, keywords, and I need to simplify this because the SEO world has confused people for years. Keywords are simply the phrases customers type into Google. That's it. Some people sometimes make it sound complicated. It's not. If someone types emergency plumber, Prosper, Texas, and your website says water infrastructure fluid management solutions, Google gets confused. Customers get confused and you lose. Your keywords belong in your title, your H1, that first paragraph, in the URL, in the image descriptions, but naturally. Never force it, never stuff it, because keyword stuffing, it sounds robotic. And Google has become incredibly good at detecting awkward writing. Remember this line: if it sounds weird to a human, it probably sounds weird to Google too. Now let's talk about the content depth, right? One of the biggest mistakes businesses make is writing pages that are too thin. 3 sentences is not enough. Google needs context. Customers need reassurance. Your service pages should explain what the service is, who it's for, what problems it solves, what the process looks like, the frequently asked questions, the pricing expectations, timelines, trust signals. Why is this important? Because content reduces the uncertainty. And the uncertainty is what stops people from calling. The businesses that win online today are businesses that answer questions before customers even ask them. Now, here's the part almost everyone ignores, hands down, is the images. Most businesses upload images that look like IMG underscore 4839.jpg. Google has no idea what that means. But if your images are named something like roof repair prosper Texas.jpg, now you're communicating clearly. The same with the alt text. Alt text describes the image to Google and to screen readers. And then there's image compression. This matters more than people really realize. Huge images slow websites down. Slow websites frustrate users. Frustrated users leave. And guess who's watching? Google. Google notices all of this. SEO is not magic. Remember, it's behavior. Google watches what humans do. Now, this slide, I like this slide. This slide is powerful because now you can see how everything works together. Look at this search result. Every part matters. The URL, the title, the description, the reviews, the frequently asked questions. This is not random. This is structured communication. The businesses dominating Google usually aren't mysterious. They're just clear. Their website communicates better. Their pages are optimized better. Their trust signals are stronger. And Google rewards reduced uncertainty. That's what modern SEO really is. Now, now we audit, right? Let's do some auditing. And this is where things become real because most businesses discover they don't actually have an SEO problem, they have the clarity problem. So you have to ask yourself, does every page have a title? Does every page have one clear H1? Does your city appear in the first 100 words? Are your images compressed? Do your pages answer real customer questions? This checklist matters because SEO is cumulative. Tiny improvements compound. One better headline, one stronger call to action, one optimized image, one clearer service page. Over time, that becomes visibility. Now for the good news, right? You do not need to become a programmer to do this stuff. There are tools that make this dramatically easier. If you're rocking WordPress, you're probably using something like a Yoast. If you're doing Google Analytics, you've got your Google Search Console. You've got Tiny PNG to compress images, Screaming Frog, Hemingway Editor. And here's the important thing. Don't obsess over mastering every tool. Master clarity first, because tools do not fix weak communication. A beautifully optimized, confusing website is still confusing. So, again, let's bring it on home. One page SEO is the part you control completely. On page SEO, I'm sorry. And honestly, that should excite you because visibility is not reserved for giant corporations anymore. Small businesses can compete today. If they communicate clearly, remember the big takeaways. Your title tag is prime real estate. Your title tag, your meta description earns the click. Headers optimize understanding. Keywords are simply customer language. Content, it builds trust. Images are SEO assets. And clarity is the most competitive advantage because most businesses are still vague. Most businesses are still noisy. Most businesses still make visitors work too hard to understand them. And the businesses that communicate clearly, they become easier to trust, easier to understand, easier to recommend, and the easier for Google to rank. You know what I mean? So let's look at this local SEO. This is something huge. This is major. And honestly, for most small businesses, this is the highest ROI marketing activity you can do on the internet. Not ads, not social media, not those expensive funnels, local. Because think about this. When somebody searches plumber near me, best tacos in Frisco, roof repair, Prosper, Texas, they are not casually browsing. They are looking to buy right now. And this section that we're going to go into is about helping your business become visible at the exact moment somebody nearby needs exactly what you do. right? So here's the simple definition of local SEO. Local SEO is helping nearby customers find and trust your business online. That's really it at the end of the day. And for small businesses, this matters more than traditional SEO. Why is that? Because you're not competing against the entire internet. You're competing against the businesses around you. And that changes everything. A local roofer in Prosper, Texas is not trying to outrank every roofer in America. They're trying to outrank maybe 5, 10, 15 competitors around them. And that is way more achievable. And here's the crazy part. Almost half of all Google searches have local intent. That means people are constantly searching for businesses near them. The internet has become a digital version of who nearby can help me right now. So now let's talk about the most valuable real estate on Google, the local pack. You know what this is? It's the map, right? And those top three businesses underneath it, the psychology, this is important because when people see that map listing, their brain immediately thinks these must be trusted businesses. Google positions them first above the normal websites. That creates instant authority. And the beautiful part, you do not buy your way into this. You earn this by sending Google trust signals, things like consistent information, good reviews, strong relevance, and a complete Google business profile. The local pack is basically Google saying, these are the businesses we trust most for this search. If your website is your digital storefront, your Google business profile is your digital billboard. And most businesses either haven't claimed it, haven't finished it, or filled it out halfway. That's like opening a restaurant with no sign on the building. Google Business Profile is free, and yet it's one of the most powerful visibility tools ever created for local businesses. Now, now notice something important on this side, on this slide that I'm showing you. Google is rewarding completeness, photos, hours, services, descriptions, categories, Q&A. Why is this important? Because Google is trying to reduce the uncertainty. The more complete your profile is, the safer Google feels recommending you to customers. And hear me out on this. Use real photos, not stock images, real team, real trucks, real storefront, real products. Authenticity. Authenticity builds the trust. So, this next part separates average businesses from businesses dominating locally. Photos. Businesses with tons of real photos dramatically outperform businesses with none. Why? Because photos reduce fear. Customers want to see where they're going, see who they're hiring, see what quality looks like. And then there's categories. This is how you teach Google what your business actually is. Specific beats broad. Emergency plumber beats contractor, right? Wedding bakery beats food business. Clarity. Clarity wins. And then you got your Google business profile posts. Almost no one uses these. Literally no one uses these. Hidden jewel, which means if you use them consistently, you instantly look more active than competitors. Post updates, projects, events, offers, tips. Remember, Google rewards active businesses because active businesses create better user experiences. Now, we're getting into one of the most, I guess, boring sounding, but incredibly important parts of the local SEO, which is not consistency. That's the name, address, phone number. And here's the issue. Humans see Main Street and Main Street all spelled out as the same thing. Google sometimes does not. To Google, inconsistency creates uncertainty, and uncertainty lowers trust. Imagine introducing yourself to somebody four different ways. I have this problem all the time. I'm Steve. I could be Steven. I could be Elwood. I could be E. Stephen Barry. Eventually, people start wondering, wait, are these all the same people? And that's what happens online. Right? Your business information needs to match exactly everywhere. Website, Google profile, Facebook, Yelp, directories. Consistency compounds trust. Now, let's talk about speaking Google's language, local keywords. This is where geography meets intent. Look at the difference between plumber and emergency plumber, Prosper, Texas. One is broad, one is high buying intent. The second search tells Google what they need, where they need it, and often how urgently they need it. This is why city names matter. Your location should appear in your titles, your headlines, your URLs, your descriptions, and naturally throughout the content on your website. And if you serve multiple cities, create separate pages, not one giant generic page, because Google ranks specificity. Reviews Reviews are digital trust at scale. And then this is massive, right? Most businesses think reviews are just reputation. No, no. Reviews are SEO signals. Google uses them as evidence that people trust you, people talk about you, people recommend you, and notice something important. Uh, Recency, it matters. Fresh review signal an active business. And now here's the problem, right? Most happy customers never leave reviews unless asked. So businesses with the best service often lose online to businesses with better systems. You have to ask politely, consistently, professionally, and respond to reviews. That's key. All of them. Respond to all your reviews, positive or negative, because people are not just reading the reviews, they're reading your response. That response tells customers who you are under pressure. Now, let's talk about citations. A citation is basically another place online mentioning your business information. And every consistent citation acts like another vote of confidence. Google Business Profile, your Yelp, your Bing reviews, Apple Maps, Better Business Bureau, industry directories. These platforms they reinforce the legitimacy. It's like the internet collectively saying, "Yep, this business exists." And again, consistency matters because local SEO is fundamentally about reducing uncertainty. The clearer and more consistent your signals are, the easier it becomes for Google to trust your business. Now we move into more, I guess, advanced local signals. And these are powerful because most small businesses never do them. Schema markup. This is basically giving Google a perfectly organized business card in machine readable form. You're helping Google understand who you are, where you are, what you do, and who you serve. Then embedded maps, simple, easy, and powerful. You're reinforcing geographic association between your website and your real world location. And then you have location landing pages. This one is huge. If you serve, let's say, Prosper, Frisco, McKinney, or Denton, this is all Texas, create dedicated pages for each. Because somebody searching for roof repair in McKinney, Texas, wants a page specifically about McKinney. Specificity increases that relevance. Relevance is how you hit that ranking. Now, here's the important part. Don't leave this workshop overwhelmed. Leave with a checklist because SEO, like we said, it's not magic. It's structured communication. This checklist right here, it helps you identify gaps. Maybe your Google profile is incomplete. Maybe your reviews are outdated. Maybe your city isn't mentioned on your homepage. Maybe your contact info is inconsistent. And all that's cool. That's all okay. Awareness creates the opportunity. And remember, you do not need to fix everything tonight. You just need the momentum. One improvement today compounds into visibility tomorrow. So let's try to bring it all together, right? Local SEO is not about tricking Google. It's about helping Google confidently recommend your business. That's the game. Clear signals, strong trust, consistent information, helpfulness, real reviews, real activity, and honesty. This is good news for a small business because giant corporations may have bigger budgets, but local businesses can still win through clarity, consistency, community trust, authenticity. Your goal is simple. When somebody nearby needs what you do, you show up. And when you show up, you look trustworthy enough to earn the call. That that is what local SEO is. All right. Do you have any questions while I'm just yapping? No? All right. Well, let me ask you something. Have you ever clicked a website on your phone and it took forever to load? You stare at the screen, you're waiting. You might even wait a little longer. And then what happens? You're gone. Not because the business was bad, not because the service was bad, because the experience was bad. And this right here is one of the biggest misunderstandings in SEO. Most business owners think SEO starts with keywords. That's not always true. Google measures something before it even reads your content. Can this website actually deliver a good experience? That's really what Octave 7 is about performance, the mobile, the user experience. Because a slow, broken, frustrating website is like a store with a jammed front door. People don't stay long enough to buy, right? Google looks at three technical factors before it trusts your website. I call this is like the technical trinity: speed, mobile, and security. And here's the crazy part. These are pass or fail gates, meaning you can have amazing content, but if your site is painfully slow, broken on mobile, or marked not secure, Google starts lowering confidence immediately. Think about it like a restaurant. If the parking lot is impossible, the front door is broken, and the building looks unsafe, people don't stay long enough to read the menu. And that's the same online. Now look at these numbers. 53% of mobile users leave if the site takes longer than 3 seconds, not 10 seconds. 63% of searches now happen on mobile devices, and 88% of users avoid insecure websites. This is why SEO is not just marketing anymore. It also includes the experience. So let's talk speed, because speed is probably the number one technical SEO problem for small businesses. And here's the hard truth. Most small business websites are carrying digital clutter, huge images, cheap hosting, too many plugins, autoplay videos, fancy animations nobody asked for. It's like trying to run a marathon while carrying furniture, a couch or something. And every extra second costs money. 1 second load time can convert 3 times better than a 5 second load time. You see what I'm saying? That's massive. And there's good news. Most speed fixes are simple. Compress the images, upgrade the hosting, delete unused plugins, enable caching, use a CDN like Cloudflare. It might be a little nerdy, but using a CDN is helpful. You do not need to become a programmer. You just need to remove the friction, because speed is trust. Fast websites feel professional. Slow websites feel risky. Now, Google actually grades your website experience, like literally. These are called core website vitals. And and don't let the technical names scare you. Think of them as customer frustration scores, the LCP, right? The largest contentful paint. Fancy term, simple meaning. How long before people see the main thing on your page? If someone opens your homepage and your giant hero image takes forever, that hurts ranking. FID, first input delay. How quickly your website responds when someone clicks something. You ever clicked a button and nothing happened? That frustration, it matters. And then you got your CLS, cumulative layout shift. This one, this one drives everyone insane. You go to tap a button and suddenly the page jumps. And now you click the wrong thing. That's bad user experience. Google watches all of this because Google's entire business depends on giving users a good experience. Google wins when users trust the results. All right. So this slide, this slide changes how most people think about their entire website. Really, your mobile site is your real site. Google is now 100% mobile first, meaning Google primarily judges your website based on the phone version, not the desktop version. So if your desktop site looks beautiful, but your mobile site is tiny, broken, hard to tap, slow or confusing, that's what Google sees. And honestly, that's what your customers see too, because over 60% of searches now happen on phones, especially local searches. Think about human behavior. Nobody pulls out a laptop when their water heater explodes. They grab their phone. Emergency plumber near me. That's the moment that matters. So right now, I want everyone mentally checking their site. Can people read it without zooming? Are the buttons easy to tap? Does it load quickly? Can they call you with one tap? Because the mobile SEO is no longer optional. Your phone experience is the brand experience. So now let's talk about one tiny thing that creates huge trust, right? The padlock, that HTTP SSL secure server. If your website still says not secure in the browser, that is a trust killer instantly. Imagine walking into a bank and there's caution tape on the door. That's what not secure feels like online. Customers may not understand SSL technology, but they understand danger signals. Now, the good news, this is one of the easiest fixes in SEO. Most modern hosting, companies include the free SSL certificate, usually one click. And Google confirmed, that the HTTPS as a ranking factor, it matters. They did that years ago. So security is not just protection anymore. Security is part of that communication. It tells users you can trust this business. Now, this part gets really interesting because Google watches human behavior, not in like a real creepy way, but in like a pattern recognition way. Google asks, you know, do users seem happy? Uh, and it measures that through the UI, through the user experience signals, the bounce rate. Do they leave immediately? The dwell time. Did they stay long enough to engage? Pages per session. Did they explore? Click through rate, right? Did people even click your result in Google? This is why SEO and psychology are deeply connected. If visitors instantly leave, Google assumes your page probably wasn't helpful. But if people stay, scroll, click, explore, Google gains confidence. And this is why clarity matters so much. Good user experience is not decoration. The user experience reduces the uncertainty. And remember, Google's mission is reducing uncertainty for searches. Your website's mission should be the same. Now, I do. I love this slide because it turns the SEO into action. This this here is practical. This is fixable. And honestly, most businesses can improve several of these today. Can someone tap your phone number? Can they read your text without zooming? Does your menu actually work? Do your forms feel easy? Do images load properly? Does the site load in under 3 seconds? This is where modern SEO becomes simple. Reduce friction. That's it. Every extra frustration costs conversions. Every confusing moment loses trust. Every delay loses attention. Small improvements compound. That is the game. Now, here's the beautiful part. You do not need expensive software to improve your website. Google gives you free tools, page speed insights, search console, mobile friendly testing, the GT metrics, the SSL checker, tiny PNG. These tools literally tell you what's wrong. It's like getting a free diagnostic scan for your business. And remember, small business owners think SEO is mysterious, right? But it's not. SEO is often just fixing obvious communication and usability problems. That's why I keep saying most businesses don't have the technology problem. It's clarity. It's clarity that's the problem. And technology either supports clarity or it destroys it. Right. So let's bring it all together one more time. Google checks three things first: speed, mobile, security. Before your content even gets judged, your website should load in under 3 seconds. Google ranks your phone experience first. HTTPS builds trust instantly. The user experience signals tell Google whether people actually like your site experience. Now, here's the deeper lesson underneath all of this. SEO is not about gaming the algorithms. SEO is about humans feeling confident. That's what Google rewards. The clarity. I keep going back to it. Clarity, trust, usability, consistency. And honestly, again, this is good news for you. Businesses, you do not need to outspend giant corporations. You just need to create better experiences, clearer experiences, a faster experience, a more trustworthy experience. That's how local businesses win in 2026, right? So, in this final octave, 8, we're going to talk about measurement, mistakes, and basically the next steps. Because if you can't measure growth, you can't improve growth, right? So, in this final octave, this is where SEO stops being theory, right? And starts becoming measurable business growth. Because here's the truth most businesses never hear: you do not rise online because you worked hard. You rise because you can clearly see what's working and improve what isn't. That's what measurement does. Imagine trying to lose weight without a scale. Imagine trying to grow revenue without checking sales, or flying a plane with no dashboard. That's what most businesses are doing online. They have a website, they post content, and then even run some ads, but they have absolutely no idea what's happening underneath the hood. And we want to change that today. So, what do we got? Google Analytics 4, or you'll always see it as GA4, is basically your website security camera system. It shows you who visited, where they came from, what pages they viewed, how long they stayed, and whether they became a lead or customer. And let me say something important here. Traffic alone is not success. 1,000 visitors means nothing if nobody calls. GA4 helps answer business questions. Which marketing channel brings real leads? Which pages are performing? Where are people dropping off? All of that is powerful because once you can measure behavior, you can improve behavior. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Google gives this away for free. Small businesses, they think they need expensive software. You don't. Most businesses don't need more tools, they need more clarity, right? So if GA4 shows you what people do on your website, Google Search Console shows you how Google sees your website. This tool is unbelievably important because Search Console tells you what keywords triggered your website, what pages Google indexed, what technical problems exist, whether your mobile experience is broken, and how your ranking are changing over time. This is your direct communication line with Google. And here's one of my favorite SEO strategies: look for keyword ranking between positions 8 and 15. Why? Because those are your almost winning keywords. You're already on Google's radar. You just need stronger content, better trust signals, and more clarity. Again, SEO is not magic. Sometimes it's just improving what's already close. Now, this next part is huge because the internet loves vanity metrics, followers, likes, views, impressions, and businesses get emotionally attached to numbers that don't pay bills. So let's simplify this, right? There are really only 5 SEO metrics most businesses should care about. Organic traffic, are more people finding you through search? 2, keyword ranking. Are your important searches moving upward? 3, local pack awareness. Are you showing up on Google Maps? 4, conversion rate. Are visitors becoming leads? And 5, reviews. Are trust signals growing? Are more people leaving reviews? And that's really it. Because visibility without trust signals fails, right? Trust without traffic stalls. Traffic without conversions is a waste of time and a waste of money. The goal is not more clicks. The goal is more business, more conversions. Now, let's talk about the mistakes, right? And this part matters because most businesses are not failing because they're lazy. They're failing because nobody explained the rules clearly. And here are some of the biggest mistakes that I see constantly. Trying to rank nationally instead of locally. Ignoring your Google business profile. Never asking for a review. Using duplicate content. That's classic. Ignoring page speed. And my personal favorite, setting it and forgetting it. Look, SEO is not a crock pot. You do not throw a website online, walk away for 18 months, and expect Google to reward it. Google rewards active businesses, helpful businesses, consistent businesses, businesses that continue communicating clearly over time. Now, I want to make this practical, right? Because information without action, it changes nothing. So, month 1, all about foundation. Install Google Analytics 4. Install Search Console and check your indexing. See what your baseline is. Week 2, fix your Google business profile. Upload real photos. Go ask for some reviews. Week 3, improve the title tags on your website. Improve the meta descriptions. Compress all your images. Week 4, clean up the structure. Add internal links. Publish one helpful, frequently asked question type of article. You notice what we're not doing? We're not trying to hack the algorithm. We're building clarity. We're reducing the uncertainty. We're making it easier for customers and search engines to understand the business. Now, once your foundation exists, then you start building authority. This is where consistency starts to compound. You start building citations, collecting reviews, publishing helpful content, creating city-specific pages, building local partnerships. And this is where businesses start separating themselves from competitors. Because most businesses, quite too early, they post 3 times, you know, they write one blog, They ask for 2 reviews and then they stop. They hit a moment. Meanwhile, the businesses dominating page one, they kept going. The visibility compounded, trust compounded, consistency it compounded. And now we need to have an honest conversation nobody likes having, which is that this is going to take some time. SEO takes time. Anybody promising you page one ranking in 2 weeks, run. That's that's fantasy marketing. Real SEO looks more like this. That first 30 days, you begin seeing, Google starts noticing changes. And that month 1 to 3, you begin seeing movement. And in that 3 to 6 month range, traffic and ranking begins compounding. And by the end of the year, momentum becomes real, right? And here's the mindset shift I need you to remember. SEO is not a lottery ticket. It's digital real estate. Um, every helpful page that you create, every review that you earn, every improvement that you make becomes a long-term business asset. That's why SEO is so powerful. Ads stop the moment you stop paying. SEO, good SEO, it works for years. Now, the good news, you do not need a giant corporate budget to do this. There are incredible free tools available today. Like I said, Google Analytics, Search Console, Page Insights. Uh, if you're rocking WordPress, you can do Yoast. Uh, all websites, image wise, Tiny PNG, Hemingway Editor. Most businesses don't need more complexity. They just need systems, simple systems, repeat repeated consistency. The consistency, that's what's going to win. And this right here, this is a full roadmap, right? Now you understand what SEO is, how search engines work, what makes a quality website, how structure matters, how on-page SEO works, right? How local works, why performance matters, and how to measure results. This is a massive advantage. Most businesses online today are guessing. And you're no longer guessing. And before we wrap this all up, I want you to remember something important. You do not need to be a programmer. You do not need to be an SEO expert overnight or at all. You simply need to become clear online than your competitor. That's it. Because at the end of the day, SEO is not about tricking Google. SEO is helping search engines and humans clearly understand who you help, what you do, and where you do it, and why you can be trusted. Again, that is the game. So let me leave you with this. Most businesses, they don't have a technology problem. It's all about communication. And the businesses that win online in the next decade will not necessarily be the biggest businesses. They will be the clearest businesses, the most trustworthy businesses, the most helpful, consistent. And now that you have this roadmap, now you can build. All right. And that brings me to the end of this great presentation. Again, my name is Steve Berry. I am available for you if you want to reach out. For following, I always post content like this. So, does anyone have any questions before we break?
I I do. I have quite a few actually.
Right.
Um so okay. So I bought my domains on Namecheap And I did that specifically because I wasn't sure what platforms I wanted to use. I have two businesses I'm trying to do. Um, when you mentioned like websites being slow, you said it was in the section where like why a site would be slow. You mentioned cheap shared hosting. Like,
Mhm.
what is that? What is that exactly?
So in your case, let's say you have the domain is at Namecheap, and let's say you chose I hate to pick on them, but let's say you went to GoDaddy and you chose one of their many programs, and you know they're always trying to sell you something real cheap. So they might sell you a cheap hosting program where what essentially you're sharing the server with other businesses. So they may put your website on a server with, let's just say, 1,000 other websites. So you're all sharing that server. They give it to you all for a cheap price, but the problem is you're all fighting for the same track, that bogging down of the server. So
Okay.
uh, they may offer you that cheap service. But in that case, I would choose like a all-in-one platform like a Wix, Shopify. Um, I
Okay.
guess, I don't. Those are my favorites. But
Okay. So like I have right now I'm using Square for an online, like I'm selling candles online. So that's I'm using Square.
mhm,
And then I'm doing photography and I'm using Squarespace.
okay.
So that's my next question is like the platforms. Like for e-commerce, like Square is working fine, but like for the long term, do you recommend Shopify investment? And then there's also Etsy, like that's a whole nother thing. So I was just curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So it's going to come down to what you're most comfortable with in terms of editing the website. So from personal experience, Square hasn't been most user friendly for me. And I'm a web developer.
It's
I
clunky.
It's very clunky and sometimes it's confusing. So, but if you can get it done, it turns out to be a pretty website, but it takes a lot to do that. But um, I would encourage platforms like that. I'm definitely a Wix kind of guy, regardless of where you registered the domain. Wix, out of dealing with all the platforms, Wix is the one where uh, it's good for web developers and it's good for someone who doesn't have, it's good for my grandmother, so they both parties can navigate in the same space, get the website updated, be able to manage your customers, manage your products. When it comes down to like Etsy or any platform like that, you're kind of subject to their platform. That's more or less, like a directory. The problem with Etsy is it's saturated. So,
Mhm.
and the fees and the way that you're kind
Yeah.
of slave to whatever they come up with. And so, and even if when you pay for uh, positioning, the whole page is paid for. So everybody's paid for positioning. So Etsy is a little tricky. That that's more like once you get going, you might
Okay.
bring out to Etsy, but even still, the fees will probably run you away. So Shopify, I like Shopify. The only problem is Shopify can get kind of pricey in terms of the way they charge and how they do business. So it's but if you like Shopify and you're comfortable with it and it's not clunky and you like the way navigating it, uh, I would encourage investing in that. Wix is free for you to try it out. You can try that out for free. You can make 100 websites for free. Try it out and get a feel for it. And if you don't like it, you can walk away. No money spent.
Can
Shopify is
I, sorry, I was just say, can I jump in really quickly there? Because I like Wix too. However, if you want to use your own domain name and not have the Wix co-branding, you have to upgrade to their expensive. Like Wix seems like one of the more expensive sites. Sarah, I'm in a really similar position as you. I have two businesses. One is selling goods, one is selling services. So I'm like looking at different
Mhm.
website options for each, and I'm having a hard time too. I feel some like decision paralysis on like I don't know like where
Yes,
to
I'm in
go
the
and how to
same
start.
spot.
Absolutely. I would encourage with the reason I like Wix after trying all of them. I've been in this for 20 plus years, and we would build websites by hand. WordPress was the king of the hill up until a certain point, just because it was so brittle and so unstable. Your website could fall down at any given moment, regardless of where it was hosted. That evolved into platforms with your Squarespace, your Shopify, Wix. What separates those is going to be product versus service. If I have a product like a candle, and I'm going to lean heavy on Shopify first because that's any product based platform. That's what they do best. That's the type of plugins they provide. Squarespace. The only reason I like them is just because they purchased Google domains a while back, so they have a very strong hold on Google domains, Google Workspace, and things like that. Their website platform, I'm not a big fan of it. The reason I like Wix is just of an all-inclusive type of platform. So if I start a Wix site right now, like you said, I can make 100 free websites and it'll have the little disclaimer at the top. It's built with Wix. To get rid of that, I have to go premium, and they have four programs. Uh, they got kind of the first one that's kind of cheap, but then that second one is Core. Core is probably the best one, and if you play it smart, they offer a 50% discount every Wednesday-ish. I still haven't figured out this, but they every week or every 2 weeks they offer a 50% discount. So if you just play it patiently, you can get that premium at 50%. uh, they'll give you the domain for free for the first year, and then the next year they'll charge you full price, and that's totally fine. And I think we're getting people in that when you get the 50% discount, it's like under 200, and that's fair. And for a year with the domain, that's a fair price. If you were to build it by yourself and host it, go to GoDaddy, go to Namecheap, and kind of piecemeal it all together, you're going to come out not only the $200, but the sweat equity to just get it together and get it up and running. These platforms are already in cahoots with Google, so the ranking is going to happen quicker on these platforms. So it's just
Mm.
a matter of choosing the right platform, and it's just going to come down to if you're a service-based business, I'm going to lean on Wix because I can, if I just need to book calls, book leads, and manage customers, I'm going to lean on Wix because Wix is good at that. It's really good at that. But if I need to add some e-commerce, Wix offers that as well. If my business is kind of producty, but it also has a service side to it, I'm going to lean Wix first over Shopify just because I have that I know that flexibility exists. Shopify product only. If I'm t-shirts, boats, cars, candles, whatever, physical products, I'm going to lean on Shopify first, just because of the tools, the automation, the landing pages, you name it. Shopify's got it in that field, in that rank. Other I won't even go into that because I was going to go into like cheap landing pages, but that's really going against what I'm saying. It's that's not. I don't want you to go that direction. I would prefer you choose one of those platforms at the top: Shopify, Squarespace, um, and then after that layer, you're going to come up to the what what who's going to process my credit cards? Is it going to be Square? Is it going to be PayPal? Is it going to be Shopify? Is it going to be Wix? Again, this choosing an all-inclusive place helps bring all this together smoothly when it comes down to hosting, domain name, e-commerce, managing products, managing customers, managing drip campaigns when the customer buys, when the customer doesn't buy, when things like that. So having it all under one roof, like a Wix or a Shopify, is very helpful, especially if you're not a web designer or a marketer at all. Having it under one roof versus trying to piecemeal it together, domain over here, hosting over here, form, jot form over here, and I'm just kind of making it together. Sure, you might save a few dollars, but you're going to drive yourself crazy by trying to do that. So, you can kind of weigh the options, if you will. Does that I know I kind of just blabbed on. Does that help?
Yeah, I think that's helpful. I was curious, like what you were saying about keeping an active website. Like I get that. Like blogging versus frequently asked questions. Is it just like just even if it's adding something small, like the frequently asked questions, like as long as you're adding to it, that helps keep it active? Or like I know um, like a friend of mine is a food blogger, so I know that's a whole nother can of worms. And all the food bloggers I know use WordPress. So I guess two questions there, like active, and then does the platform matter? Like if you do get into blogging, because are you saying Wix is better than WordPress when it comes to, I mean, or just does it just depend on the type of business you have?
Well, for the blogging, right? WordPress used to be the king of the hill when it came to blogging, when it came to SEO, uh, and the way that blogging was indexed. But nowadays, all platforms have a degree of blogging. And uh, it doesn't matter what platform you use. Um, when it comes to blogging these days, um, it's really all about answering questions. So usually, you know, using your candles for an example, uh, I could Google right now the top 25 questions of candles. I'm a big candle person, so fragrance, uh, what type of fragrances you have, how much they, how much does the fragrance, you know, what type of room it fills up, how long they burn. These are easy blogs where you can write blogs on your website that answer common questions that are very natural to what people are searching for. So people ask questions every day. They search for things. They ask ChatGPT all the time. Who's got the best candles that are made of soy wax and they burn for 4 hours? They got people ask these questions all the time, and your blog is where search and AI is pulling from. So as long as you're answering questions and not just talking fluffy talk about candles, but answering real questions real time, that's that opportunity I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of activity, um, depending on your schedule and your frequency, you could just say, hey, I'm going to answer questions for the next few weeks. I'm going to answer one a day, one every few days, whatever your frequency is. I may answer a question a week. And when I answer that question, I'm going to blog it. I'm going to take that blog, I'm going to go over to Google Business, I'm going to post it. I'm going to go to LinkedIn, I'm going to post it. I'm going to go over to all my social medias and share it. And this creates that flow of activity that shows Google as well as everyone else that, hey, this business is active, they're knowledgeable about the subject, um, and that's just one way of staying active. And
So would the blogging be different than like a frequently asked question? Like would would you recommend one or the other? I guess I just wasn't sure because you mentioned frequently asked questions, but I just like I don't know, just wondering if
I do both.
okay,
Both. Yeah.
okay,
So every service or product is going to have a frequently asked question type of and they're very similar in terms of question, answer, in terms of the structure of the page, question, answer. The blog is very similar in that. A blog, you can venture out into things where it's like top 10 eucalyptus candles, 3 wick that burn for 4+ hours. Some, you can get into things like that. Top tens, best candles for, relaxing this, things like that. Those are more subjects that are blog specific. When it comes to very specific product related questions, that's a FAQ type of question. But structural wise and management wise, they're very similar. You're managing your blogs, you're managing your questions, how you answer them, how thin the content is. You want to answer the question. You don't want to just stuff it with words. So all those things still apply. But I would do both. Um, the more content, the better. The more relevant content, the better. As much as you can come up with. And it's endless, very endless content when it comes down to questions and just what people are searching for, and definitely for local. People are always looking for local. So uh, where to find the best candles in uh, Indianapolis or wherever you're located. That's a blog post. Those are all great subjects to talk about to keep you active and to keep things active. Yelp, Google Business, things like that. Easy wins, where you can make content one time but post it everywhere. So
So, Steve, I just wanted to thank you for all the wonderful information. I've had my business for maybe 3 years, but very active in the last 18 months. And I feel uh, basically that this is the secret sauce. I was leery with what website to start with, where to go, how to go, and this just helped me to understand the dynamics of it all so much more. I feel better even about planning. I'm supposed to meet with someone to start planning my marketing plan, and so I just appreciate it. I wish there was thousands of people on here because I feel like this is something that's not taught very often. I also appreciated all your illustrations. As far as like going into a store and not having this and not doing this, and this is what it looks like, so that it just helped me figure out what my client might be looking for when they come. So just wanted to thank you for everything.
absolutely, that's what I'm here for. I appreciate that. I do this. I just started doing this, so I'm just getting into the swing of presenting. So I appreciate that. It means a lot.
yes, I agree. It was very straightforward and very helpful. I feel like um, I have one more question, and I don't mean to overtake, but like
Go for it.
for those of us like just starting out, and like I said, I've done Square, I've done Squarespace. I find it like I'm okay technology wise. Like I consider myself like, but do you recommend like I mean, it sounds like Wix is maybe more user friendly, but is it better for us to really do it? Do some people like hire out for people to do their websites? But it's like if you're going to be updating it all the time, it seems like you really need to know the ins and outs of what you're doing.
Yeah. You know, as a web designer, for me to tell you not to hire a web designer goes against my philosophy. But truthfully, in today's world, honestly, Wix is and I keep harping on Wix, but in terms of web design and you know, the things that we would once pay thousands of dollars to a web designer just years ago, you can go to Wix's website template gallery right now. You can Google that. It'll bring up hundreds of gallery, hundreds of templates that are beautiful. And it'll ask you, do you want to use this? You say, yeah. And it'll ask you about your business and you'll fill that in and it'll fill in the blanks. And for a first shot, that's a pretty good website, you know. So it's just you can move really quick. And so with that said, you know, you could give a first strike at a website and get it almost to where you need it, if not where you need it, and then go get the expert. That way you've got a great baseline and you're not subject to their opinions or whatever, their philosophies, but you're like, this is what I want, and I just need you to button it up. But you know, you can get, if not past the finish line, you can get pretty close yourself without being too technical. It's just really time, the sweat equity that it'll take. And with chat GPTs and LLMs, I'm a heavy Claude user. So if you got an issue, let's just say, let's just use Wix as an example. You're like, you open up Claude and you say, look, I need you to help me build a Wix website. It'll help you build a Wix website. It'll help you. It'll help you in great detail, step by step. So with between Claude and these website platforms like Wix, Shopify, and Squarespace, you're pretty dangerous, you know, in terms of getting it done and going way beyond what you believe you're capable of. Those two tools together are great. So ChatGPT, ChatGPT is not the greatest. Just it's not that smart. I'm sorry. Claude is going to be your smarter LLM if you want to choose that as a tool to help you. Google Gemini is also strong in terms of not drifting, not giving you a very specific answer. So, and I think you could get that done. I mean, other than that, other than design, the design of the website is one thing. The content of the website is another thing. And that's all you. You know, in terms of creating it and knowing what to say and what your business represents. And then you've got what we've talked about, just the SEO part of it. So only reason I would hire someone is if I don't have the time. I think that's, you know, to bring it all home. If you don't have the time to do it yourself, sure, get someone else to help you. But if you've got the time to you know, knock it off a little bit at the time, I'd go that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. All right, guys. It's been great. I hope to see you guys website launching soon, getting leads and sales and all that good stuff. So until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. You guys have a great day.
You
Great.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.